Alright, so the next step for me to do is to actually use the footage that I just created in my timeline. So I'm gonna go to my video bin, and the first thing I'll do is drag in the ocean. Now here I see that the audio tracks are grayed out because I have no audio. It's fine, we're gonna add our own audio later. And we have one video track, which is view 1, and it contains the Ocean 1 movie file. What I want to do now is drag in the cube that I created in 3ds Max. So for that, I'm gonna go to my Mat key box roll, and I'm gonna drag this down. Now if I do drag it down like this, I can only insert it over this video track at this stage. So in case I do drag it in, it's gonna be inserted before the ocean track. So I'm gonna undo, because that's not what I want to do. I want to insert it over a video track that's on top of Ocean 1. So I'm gonna right click and choose new video track, and here I'm gonna grab the Mat key and insert it over its own video track. So in case I do run the sequence now, I don't really see box roll, but I see Ocean 1 because the endpoint is set over video 1. If I set it over video 2, I should see the combination of both video 1 and video 2. And here I see that the actual alpha channel is displaying the opposite information. So instead of leaving the cube and the bar visible and the rest transparent, it's showing me the cube and the bar transparent and the background is visible. So this is something that I want to fix now. So if I look over here, I see that already I have an effect, which is the transparency effect. If I go over there and go to effect mode, I have the Mat key effect, and over there I have a swap sources button. So if I do click on this, I'm gonna swap the source, which is like inverting the alpha channel, and now I'm seeing exactly what I need to see. So if I play my movie now, that's what I have. Now, of course, if I look at the actual source, the ocean source, I see that it's smaller than the size of the composer. And in order to fix that, I have to apply a resize filter, which is something that we covered before, so I'm not going to cover this right now. But you know how to apply it. You would go to the effects, and you go to image, and you take your resize filter and drag it over, and then you would resize whatever you would like to resize. Alright, so for now, that's what I have. What I would like to do now is get the extreme sports and place it right over here so that it sits over the yellow bar and besides the red cube. So for that, I'm gonna go back to my bins, and images is the bin that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna take extreme sports, and of course again I can either insert it here, but I cannot insert it on top. That's because I have to create a new video track for it. So there it is, and now I'll insert it over its own video track. Now the size or the length of that track is longer, because if I go to import and choose an image and go to options, I see that the duration, which is set to 10 seconds, is longer than what I have myself. Here I have 4 seconds, and I don't really have 10 seconds. That's why I have the rest extending. So what I want to do is actually trim out the animation according to the box roll footage. So if I move my time bar and I hit control on my keyboard, it's gonna snap to the end of box roll, or to the end of ocean, or to the end over here. So control while dragging the time bar would let you snap to that place. So once I do that, I'm gonna go over here and add an edit so that I cut through the rest of the footage. And now I'm gonna go over here where I can go to segment mode and select the segment that I want to cut and delete it. And I also delete that segment from here. Alright, so now I can remove that mode, and now I see that I have the proper length. So I cut the parts that I don't need. Alright, so what do I want to do now? I want to add my extreme sports, which is over here. So I did add it, but I don't really see it because I have to set my end result to extreme sports. And once I do, I get to see extreme sports, but I'm getting the opposite of what I want. Again, extreme sports is invisible and the rest is visible, and I want to have the opposite of this. So if I go to my effects mode again, now I do have a matte key, but since it's not a sequence, I don't have the possibility to swap the sources. For that, I have to add my own matte key effect. So make sure that this track is selected, and I go to effects and key and matte key and drag it over here. So once I do that, I have the extra options, and one of them is to swap the sources. So once I do check that button, I'm gonna get the proper result. Alright, so that's a good thing, but I would like first of all to scale down extreme sports so that it sits in that space, and then I would like it to appear at the end, and I would like it to fade in. So first of all, let's scale it down. So if I went back to my clip over here and I went to effects, I have a scaling option which I'm gonna increase, which I'm gonna expand actually, and I'm gonna scale up and down the result that I want to work with. Now here I just want to scale that result over here, so make sure that you have for example the timeline set over there, and go to effects and go to scaling and then scale.